Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Well, shalom, salama, siyeme, shalom. Greetings to all of my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. We welcome you this morning on our quest to unite Africa discussions. Here I have one of the board members and a special guest, our director of IT at Quest to Unite Africa, Brother Big Red.
Good morning, everybody.
Brother Big Red is in the background. I have him working this morning to get our photos up for our other board members that's there on the continent. They will be joining us in a little bit. They are working on our lease and things of that nature. They're in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. So, you know, I've said this before, Q2UA discussions, if you're coming on here, it is about what the work that we're doing on the ground, on the continent, in Dar es Salaam, in Zambia, and Rwanda, and Uganda, and Kenya. And the list goes on, and Ghana, and Sierra Leone, and Senegal. The list goes on, family. And see, in order to do things, it does take resources. It really does. I know folks want to talk about the parable of the 70, where they say Yahushua told the 70 to go on out through the region with what? With no clerk and with no cloak and no purse. And the Most High is going to bless you there. But there is also some places where they didn't get blessed. And they were told to what? Shake off the dust and keep it moving. Bring your peace back and keep it moving. And there are places that where they were there, they were provided for. That's a blessing. But you have to understand that that time, they were able to take care of themselves.
Yep.
They were able to feed themselves. They were able to kind of, sort of govern themselves. Not now. You try to do that in a region where they're just a shade above what you're seeing in the Congo. You tell me. And now I don't think people understand this because I've been trying to find this article. I haven't seen this article. I bet you can Google it, but I haven't been able to. I was watching Bloomberg the other day and I was talking to the Q2A board. And no kidding, on Bloomberg, they were talking about that a French ship of 35,000 metric tons of wheat was being delivered to the United States. And they gave a synopsis that it was delivered to the United States due to the shortfalls in the U.S. production. I will leave my feedback. 35 metric tons of wheat. Because why? Because there's a shortfall of wheat. Yeah, they kept that quiet. I said that to Red. I said it to Mike. I said that to Sister Fatea, Sister Shar, the Reeves. I said, look at this. And that was just it was like a little ticker. You understand, family, what that means? That literally means that famine's on the way. Thank you for that sound bite, Red. I like that. Sound the alarm. I like that.
That was my alarm.
Right on cue. Sound the alarm. Famine is coming. Famine is coming. No, that was I like that sound bite. That was a great one.
Yeah, it fits.
Mm-hmm. No, it truly does. It truly does. But it's not to be taken lightly. It is not to be taken lightly at all. Sorry, I'm trying to do some things here. Now that I got me a engineer for today. Q2A discussions is coming up, family. That's the only day I get me a studio engineer. Hallelujah. Man. How you get you a studio engineer? Man, we coming up in the world. Q2UA, baby. We all we got. But let me tell you about what we have been having our board members do. We're on a fact-finding mission. Because what we are able to do is go on over, talk to these folks, and now we are able to say, look, this is what we need to and how we need to operate. This is just one of many places. This is a brick factory. And to me, this is actually a very put together brick factory. They have an upgraded roof. It looks as though they're able to have it in a confines of a factory of walls and things of that nature. And to be honest, when you realize that you see those are done in a lot of the open air type of capacity, you understand that something like this is very, it's a nice thing to have. That's literally kind of an improved type of a structure. We may not think of it like that. We may think, well, what about these brick factories on out here? They do their bricks, they put the metal mesh on them, and then they get them over to a Home Depot. Well, the problem is they don't really have a supply chain like that. They don't have an understanding of how to do the inputs to the supply chains. Everything is piecemeal, it's factory direct. And I had to think about it because, it's kind of almost like the Amazon model, factory direct per se. But Amazon, you still have a processing of those units of whatever people are going to buy, whatever people are going to purchase. And you still have a business solution to allow for transportation of point A to point B. And that's really what they are lacking. Not to say that we can't do it. That's what we want to do. But that's how we have to get there. I'm going to present another photo. It looks like with those same bricks, this is what they're doing. They're building a footing. If you can't see it, they're building a footing for a new building. The problem is when you see anything that they're building, there's an absence of something, and I'll let you know what that absence is. Oh, yeah, I'll let you know. Because if you can see, I want you to just take a look for a little bit. Do, 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 do. And I want you to understand they really don't have a main return. I.e., their drainage capacity, water capacity is not there. And they share water. It's communal. And a lot of these smaller buildings, we take for granted. Man, can I just go on out there and use the water, use the facilities? Can I use your restroom? Nah. You want to use my restroom? Yeah, can I use your restroom? No, because I don't even have a restroom. And that's not to put them down or minimize them, but I want you to all to understand the reality of what's out there and how these structures are built. And if they do have a restroom, then it's built up by their water towers. So they really can't treat the waste. The waste doesn't get treated, it just gets poured out. That's it. It just gets drained out, tied into the main, and then they drain it on out. Because if you didn't understand what they don't have fire hydrants. Kind of crazy, all the things that we think of, they don't have it. Your house burns for real.
Well, the thing on that, I think that Well, here in America, yeah, you messed up. There, not so much, because a majority of their buildings are concrete. Even at
Yeah.
home, all straight center blocks. Dadgummit.
Yeah, the majority of their homes are cinder block. However, yeah, there's really not a recovery effort. If your stuff burns, it's gonna burn. If you need to be rescued, now you ain't getting rescued.
Most of that's a community effort, really, to fix fires and stuff.
Yep, and have a taxi as your ambulance service.
Ambulance.
These are a lot of the major shortcomings that we see.
Another thing, if you notice, they don't have any Komatsu, no big boy equipment out there. They doing all that by hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I noticed. I was like, "There's no crane. There's no kind of heavy equipment. Backhoes.
Oh,
Man, I tell you go there, it's something else to see those brothers. And man, I wish I could have took a picture of it. The whole, and neither one of them had no boots on, no shoes. It was just they barefooted. But this is what wears our brothers and sisters out. Is that type of hard labor. Now, when they doing the concrete, mixing the concrete, they pour that on the ground and they mix it that way. They don't have a machine that you know that you can use that it will turn around and mix it and everything for you. They don't. I'm sure they have it, you know, for the city or something, or for the average person who may get a small contract of the city. No, they don't have that. They do not have it. It's going to be a shovel and a hoe and mix that concrete together. That's what they.
God, I'm gonna. Oh man, Mike, I'm getting a lot of reverb on you.
Oh, me?
Yeah. When I talk.
What about now?
Let me see.
Yeah, I still hear you.
You still, man? I hope they ain't got my house bugged.
You got another plan or something?
That's my son and they're playing this video games.
Something else is picking up.
Hold on for my note. Let me look at something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna mute Mike. Yeah, so a lot of these are this is what's common. You know, you have your homes, one's a building and one's a house. Or your building and your house may be one and the same. Your domicile, your primary domicile is your building location, your business location. And you have to understand, family. Look, we're not a real estate agent here at Quest Unite Africa. We're not a improvement service in the sense of, you know, relocation and things of that nature. That's not what we're all about. We're not offering anything for people to buy land. That's not what we're all about. We're there to help build critical infrastructure and economic development. That is it. And a lot of people, they're like, well, what do we do? What do we do? Let me just tell you this. Critical infrastructure and economic development is the name of the game, because you want to understand this. No one can go to Tanzania and legally outright buy land in their own name. I hate to burst that bubble to folks. No one can do it. Now, if you do buy land or you do purchase land or there's some sort of a contract, understand what that truly means. That contract means that it's a lease. I don't know how many of our folks have been homeowners here in the United States. But we like to see that deed. We like to see that title. We like to know that it's ours and it's going to stay ours as long as we pay the taxes. So help us, Yah. Now, unfortunately, that's not always the case. And actually, that's not the case in Tanzania. If you buy or purchase any land in Tanzania, you have to do it with a Tanzanian partner. And it has to be in the form of a business venture. Go ahead, Brother Mike. See, unmute yourself.
No, I was just wondering, did you still have the background noise?
Yeah.
It's still going? I mean, I shut down and came back in.
Yeah, no, we still here. It's still picking up. Don't worry. It's just those three-letter agencies. It's those pesky three-letter agencies.
Man. Well, yeah, I mean, the information we didn't gain in the last 6 or 7 months, it appears that Tanzania is the most I ain't gonna say I'm gonna use this word difficult to do business and to do whatever you want to do on a personal level there when it comes to home ownership and all that stuff, land. It would appear, but we have that information because we looked into some other countries, and it's nowhere close to being that difficult. So now, but at the same time, this is a Muslim-ran country, although you're seeing a lot of our brothers and sisters there, and so they're the ones who's making these rules and regulations based on to keep our brothers and sisters on that low totem pole. Now, that's what that is based upon. This is the reason why you see, is that a picture of somebody's home carriage that you have there?
Yeah, these are the front businesses, and these are the roads that they're on. They're not on any type of hardball or concrete. And you hear me because that's Mike's Mike.
There you go. Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me tell you something now.
No, they're asking. I hear you when you're speaking echoes.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Because your echo.
When your mic is open, we hear our echoes.
Oh, gotta be something in here. Oh, Oh, let me move. Let me do something. Let me do something.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say in terms of the government, beep, get out the way. Yeah, it is difficult. It is difficult because just as Mike was saying, you're gonna have a bureaucratic system that is honestly, it's delayed, right? it's an arrested development of sorts, and you see it right now. These type of markets right here, we would do what? We would lay curvature, we would grade the street, and then we'd lay some sort of an asphalt, and then we'd seal the street. But you would also have drainage at the street, so what? So that water can get down and then be properly drained. We would have a little bit more of an engineering capacity to what they have on the ground. This is your atypical, this is what you have. That's it. And you got to understand, look, if they don't know better, how would they want to do better? And if they don't know that they can do better, then what's the change agent? Really, in their mind, the change agent is, well, we're just tired of living like this because we've watched YouTube. We've seen what's going on in other countries. Now they're trying to say, look, we kind of want to look a little bit more like a South Africa. If you come together, we can look like an America. That's what they want. A majority of our brothers and sisters on over there, if you ask them, hey, would you want us to come over and help build something like in America without all the craziness? They want the infrastructure without the perversion, for lack of better words. And we told them that too. No, we don't want to bring over any type of perversions. We want to be able to connect, to help our family, to understand what's going on, and to help do better. Because let me tell you what happens with this stuff on the road, with these puddles. Let me tell you what happens with this trash that's on the road. They collect diseases. It's a malaria infestation.
That sitting water lets those mosquitoes.
It's all sorts of mosquito and waterborne illnesses that's on out there. And guess what? They're always sick. They'll just be going down for whatever reason, once a week, literally once a week. Oh, I was feeling a little under the weather. I was feeling sick. Because why? They're the contaminants. You got to understand, these other nations want them to die off. Well, what's the best thing in having a nation die off? Hey, you need to do this. You need to do that. And then guess what happens? It never happens in those European countries. It never happens in those Indian countries. It never happens in those Chinese or Arab countries. They know how to drain their water. They know how to have water purification. Oh, and guess what? Surprise, surprise. These Arab countries also know how to ensure that they have plumbing. But African nations, no, we still want you in a third world capacity. That's it.
It's about control.
It's literally about control. They want them to look like this.
And the more we're learning about the rules over there, it's design.
Yeah, this is all design. They want them to have roofs like this. They want them to be shanty like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they look like this, then all the other nations can rest comfortably. Oh, okay, good. They're not coming up. We see this all the time. You think that it's going to change? No. Let me show you this. Here's your gravel and your asphalt. They have it. But you see why it takes forever? Because you know what they do? They hand shovel this gravel into the trucks, into their little dump trucks, and they hand shovel that gravel out of their dump trucks. They don't have, they do not have a hydraulic system there. Maybe just a few of them, but a large majority they don't. Mike and I were seeing that they were just shoveling stuff into the truck.
And you ought to see the ones, instead of them having a concrete crusher, break um use rocks and stuff down. Uh the brothers and sisters be sitting out there with hammers breaking rocks up. I kid you not. And I'm talking about not young people. These are like middle-aged to older brothers and sisters
Mm-hmm.
on the side of the road. But they're doing whatever they need to do to make ends meet. And you know that for the sisters that was breaking up rocks, they was the ones sitting down taking care of, the smaller rocks. The brothers, they had sledgehammers. Now,
Mm-hmm.
can you imagine swinging a sledgehammer every day to break a rock? You sending all of those shock waves down your body,
Mm-hmm.
preferably your back. So by the time what our brothers gonna be dying just from sheer exhaustion and
Mm-hmm.
worn out. But then when you talking about brothers trying to go and do business in these countries, no, they don't want us there.
They don't.
They do not.
Mm-mm.
They do not want us there. They want us to be sitting back. Hey, if me, Karis, and Red were some greedy people, and we went over there, nah, man, bump their nonsense. They got to take care of themselves. And, every man for himself. We would be over there doing business right now.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start thinking as a nation, you got problems.
Yeah, it's a like for some odd reason, man. I'm telling you. Okay,
Get
thank
an echo.
yeah, this is boy.
That's weird.
Yeah, the enemy tries. The enemy tries.
All right, let me go switch to another phone. Man, this is crazy.
Yeah. So just as Mike was saying, look, that's what they do. You break rocks and you make tiny rocks and you make tinier rocks. That's it. And they have the little. That's like a little mesh catch thing, like you'd see in, like the mining things for like if you see like the Alaska Gold Rush or something, and they're sifting through it. That's what they do. They throw the rocks into there. Anything bigger than that mesh, they sift it through in another pile, or they continue to break until it's your small, medium, and your large rocks. That's it.
Mm.
Automation, mechanization, no. And that's literally why they're not there innovating. Because here's the thing: if you're just constantly on the grind and you're literally grinding. Well, man, I wish this could be easier. I wish we could make this easier. I had a friend that was thinking how we could do this. I had a friend that was thinking how we could do that. And then when they do that, guess what happens? They take their inventions and they tell them, oh, you got a nice little scholarship to Europe. You got a nice little job to Europe, but don't share any of that technology. That's what they do, family.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back to here because my engineer got more videos. get this. Wait a second. This give me a second, family. This is gonna be a little bit more complicated. This video is gonna be a little bit more complicated. Let me see how I could do this. Oh, there it is. Yes. So yeah, this is where Mike is doing to work with the folks on over there to get things moving. This is what we're doing in terms of being able to establish some functionality. And that's hard. We're doing things from a world away. And we need to have our people truly on the ground just about every month. And to be honest, as Mike and I, we always talk in the background. It's like, look, something has to come through. The Most High has to break the log jam because we are behind. We're behind the power curve. We're behind the 8 ball, family. Do not think that we are not. We absolutely are. They're fighting on the ground in that place right now. American troops on the ground, family. Make no mistake about it. But see, by the time they say it, guess what? Oh no, 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 no. Don't worry about it. It's just a little skirmish, it's just a little this. Do you think that they're gonna tell you that they're on the ground? No. Oh, hey, we tried to recruit. We tried to meet our recruiting goals, but we're gonna have to do this draft. And surprise, surprise, the folks drafted, well, they're gonna be our family. Come on, family. Understand this. I believe that that was around Bagamoyo Road. They're a little bit north of the city. This is a very improved road. This is one of their better improved roads. So, family, a couple of things that stands out. Now, this is a very improved road, but see, they don't really have any easement. The businesses are just butted up against the road. That's a problem, family. And if you have a road like that, that shouldn't be a 1 lane road. It should be, or excuse me, it should be a 1 way road. It should be a runway. Because let me also tell you, these lanes are very narrow. And this 1 lane supports like 3 bodas, which are the bikes, a pajaji, and then a car all at once. And it gets very dangerous. It's really like a psych bike in the city. But family, that's what we're doing right now. That's what we have on the ground right now. We thank our board members for these photos. We're gonna try and get them together in a better presentation, a better format. And then in the next couple of weeks, they're gonna be heading on over to Tonga, Bagamoyo. and other places there in Tanzania.
Hey, do I still have that background noise?
Testing.
A
Yep.
little bit.
I do?
Yes.
Man, I don't know what it is. I unplugged the computer.
I don't know if
Oh.
it's you. It may be like StreamYard or something.
It
You
might
know,
be.
listen, we're over 4,000 subscribers, and we made it over to around 600 in Q2UA Africa. Please continue to subscribe to Q2UA Africa. Tell your family, tell your friends. Yeah, the stoplight technology did make it over there. Same as refrigerators. A lot of our technology is on over here. It's just that they purposefully dumb down things. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to explain. It's like what you would take for granted with what we teach our children. That level of sophistication it's a disconnect. But you had to understand what ended up happening in war. Understand what ends up happening in war. If you don't understand, let me give you a better example of this. A more contemporary example of this. During World War II, do you know that when Germany lost the war, do you realize that it was a fight between the Russians, the Soviet Union, and the United States to do what? To get their German scientists. Why? Because that's the spoil of war. To get the best and the brightest. Now understand how that happened with us on the continent. We were a spoil of war. Because why? We were the best and the brightest. And you have to separate the resources from the persons that can function with those resources. So when you don't have functionality, you don't have anything. If I know how to build roads and sidewalks in a great manner, then I can utilize that material, and then that's a job, because then folks can bring that material and they can gather that material for me to use, and then I can show people with the same level of acumen how to do the same thing. And guess what? The industry is supported, because it won't just be roads and sidewalks, it'll also be buildings and other things accompanying that. But all of the basic inputs would still go along in order to feed these projects. A building. Well, when you take away the artisans, when you take away the engineers, when you take away all your scholars, guess what? All you have left are the people that just know how to haul and dig. And guess what happens? You have literally no industry. Yeah, Oppenheimer was a German.
Sure
Yeah, and
was.
Oppenheimer was one of those former Nazi scientists.
America loved those guys. Werner von Braun was his brethren that also helped out with NASA.
Yep.
Got them proudly on their website. And go see it to this day. They just talk the Nazi talk for politics.
You know, so that's where you literally see that's what happens in a brain drain. So if you don't have the people there that's able to teach you how to improve upon what you've been doing and work what you've been working, you literally have a stoppage. And these folks have literally had a stoppage for
years,
centuries.
And then the ones who do learn leave and come over here.
Bingo.
They come here or they go to England. Like they make these places look amazing to them, so they leave and come over there. And to keep the ones who want to go back from staying there, they keep these old boomer politicians in power who keep these just ridiculous and macabre rules in play that make things difficult for anybody trying to do something good.
Yeah, because it's resource allocation. I'm going to reallocate those resources that were once there to build up the continent, and I'm going to bring them on over here, where I already have the engineers that can put it all together. Oh, and by the way, those engineers are now teaching the other engineers, are now teaching the Arab and the Chinese and the Indians and the Europeans all the technological insights. And now folks are realizing, especially on that continent, we need to keep things here. And they're understanding, in order to keep things there, they need to build things there. They need to build the infrastructure there to be able to be appealing. Yes, family, we do love curb appeal. Nobody's going to eat at a janky restaurant. No one does. Unless you just have a cruising for an intestinal bruising. Oh, that restaurant looks real janky. I'm going to eat there. You know what I'm saying? You be looking at that person like, man, are you crazy? Do you want to get sick? Yeah, I sure do. Look at it. And we would look and we'd be like, we're not eating there. Man, you see the flies over there? You see the garbage right there? They don't even have their hands washed. Come on, family. But that's the reality on the ground. Hey, before you get this restaurant started, let's make sure that you have proper water source. Let's make sure you have proper water filtration. Let's make sure that you have this, you have that in place. Let's make sure that we have a kitchen area that is not open air to where you can have contaminants. These folks have kitchen areas. They're just right in the alleys.
Right down there. Just sit in the street.
You know how unsanitary that is? Mike was like, Karis, let's get something to eat. I said, not from there. I've been sick plenty of times, family. It's not fun to be sick for over a year thinking that your liver is going to expire.
Oof.
Testing.
Mike, you hear me now?
Still here.
You still hear it?
Yeah.
Man.
That's all right. When you talk, we just won't talk.
I've been there. I've been there 2018-19. Where I had to daily take Cipro. And that sucker hurts. It was weird to not have a bowel movement in 2 years.
Hmm.
Eating all sorts of fruits and vegetables, anything that I could, and still being messed up. So, yeah, no, I am very picky about my food.
Yes, he is about that. If he feel that something is not right, oh no, Mike, I ain't eating this. Something ain't right with this. I might taste good to me. I got messed up the next day.
Mike was messed up for 2 weeks. Actually, it was more than that, Mike, because we left and you were still messed up.
Yes, yeah, I tell you, you just gotta watch it.
But see, when everything that you eat is contaminated, then you're going to have a problem. A lot of our people don't make it. They have to leave. They don't have the necessary infrastructure to even take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
People will be crawling back to the embassy like, "Yo, I need you to get me out of here. I'm going to die." Yeah, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the embassy's there. That's what they have to deal with. When folks are on out there, oh, I can live out here, I can do this, I can do that, and then they think that they can be a native like that. And it's like, no, not really. Oh yeah, yeah, kid, I can survive. No big deal, I can survive. Where are you at? I'm in South Africa in the South African hospital because this is the only hospital that's able to treat me. Or else I'd have to pay a $2,000 ticket to somewhere in the UK. Come on now.
Yeah, man.
So that's like what they have set up. These countries, these Gentiles went into the country. The same thing is in Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, East Africa. They know exactly what they did. And the brothers, and if you look at all these different countries, you can pretty much see they're on the same totem pole. So it was something that they orchestrated and put it together. Hey, we got to keep these people down. And so, you know, bad roads or, make it difficult, make their life so difficult. Because I tell you, when one of those brothers and sisters get a leeway to get up out of Africa, they are devout not to return because
Hmm.
they did a number on those brothers and sisters.
Another
Yeah.
thing that I thought about, in case some of y'all know, Karis be giving us board members these lashings. He has a little sign that says beatings will continue until morale improves. No, I'm kidding. But he made an excellent point the other day about how sometimes we'll look at the way they struggle and feel a certain type of way, but we are going through the same thing here. And even in our environment here, it's just like a whole city is just a hood. That's really what it is. Here we got localized hoods and stuff. There's over there, the whole city is the hood. Then they got it separated like that because in our hood, I just really started paying attention. Look around in your local hood and notice that there's always some kind of industrial plant in your area. But then go to the white people side of town to see if there's anything around there. Like I noticed around all of the high schools that I went to that are around here in this area, there's some kind of like industry, like heavy industry, not just no lightweight stuff. Like one had like car recycling and all this stuff. You don't think that stuff gets into the water? All the oil and stuff that they got that's getting into that water that you turn on your faucet that's coming through. Like all that stuff, we are contaminated over here, just like they have their contaminants over there. It's just different. Babylon makes our contaminants look good because they'll put a McDonald's up across the street to make you forget that you breathing in caustic fumes as you get your food dopamine rush from your trans fat and cornstarch sugar and all kinds of chemicals that they'll put in there to make you forget the wallow and the sorrow that you live in. See, we living in those same conditions, even though and then wait, I'll say they more freer than us. Because if they can live off that, if somebody said, oh, I can just build a house and live over here in the corner, they can do it. There's folks that got little tiny homes where they just live in their little homes. They got fruit trees out there. There's communities out there where they'll get the fruit trees. Try and do that over here. You can't even collect rainwater in America. There's an old white dude that I saw from, like, I think the Northwest. He collected his own water and had his own electricity from solar and disconnected from the system. And they ended up locking that man up for simply just living. You can't even live over here legally. So we got to kind of like, we got to put things in perspective. We're not too far off. We got to remember colonialism for them only ended a few years ago. It's not that long ago, like 94, the 90s, when some of them were still shaking off the shackles. Even some in the 2000s. We see it even now with Mali and all them going on. What's going on with Burkina Faso? They're like, they've coming up off of it. We've had a while to kind of slap the hand of colonialism off our neck by the grace of the Most High. But all they did was just redirect us, with little puppets. Like, oh, okay, hey, you're free now. Here, you can wear this gay white man's apparel that you pay all this extra amount of money for. Yeah, you free now, but pay no attention to the fact that all of your fruit trees in your yard are dying because we spraying everything. Pay no attention to all these herbal plants around that we got you throwing away, and we told you they weeds, but they actually could save you. But we're gonna give you these derivatives from oil to keep you safe. Like, we all brothers and sisters in the struggle, just like over there. We can't look down on them because it's like, oh, well, they got flies over there. Well, guess what? You got chemicals in your water.
Do. We have fluoride, and fluoride is known to reduce your mental capacity.
All kinds of stuff. You drinking out of you using Teflon pans, talking about you all feeling bougie because you done spent $200 on some Teflon pans, and that Teflon is killing you slowly and giving you cancer, and you judging them because they using homemade copper stainless pots, which is healthier. We can't just look at one and be like, oh, they got flies. Well, guess what? You got all kinds of other things going on in your stuff too. You don't know what they done put all the food that you getting from them Oreos. You know that they allowed to have certain rats parts and stuff in there from all your food and stuff that you get. They allow rat. There's a certain parts per millions that they allow rat droppings and all kinds of other just disgusting stuff.
Isn't that Isaiah 65? Those that eat mice, oh yeah. Family
it's a lot, bro. Y'all willing. I hope to be there soon. And it seems that we have to go through the back door in order to walk through the front door. Because when we first got started, we was gone ho. We talking about heavy equipment, building the roads, and like Yacoba said, he said these people listen to us. They listen to us. They know what we're saying is true, but when the truth is out there, they trying to figure out a way. Hey, how can we hop on this bandwagon? Is this a pro or is this a con? How can we fit in if we can't get in? They're looking at all of their scenarios. Our scenario is we need to help our brothers and sisters because we know the ins and outs of their doing. That is the Gentiles, and so we come in there because, man, when I say this, I say it all the time. We are built different, and it's becoming more frustrating the more you realize, or at least I realize, that we are built different. Because I'm asking one simple question. I know about our disobedience, But how in the world you call yourself supposedly a human being and you living your life off the backs of our brothers and sisters? And this is just not in Africa. I'm talking about globally.
Mhm.
Like Red was saying, you go find more prisons. And if it's not in the rural area, but trust and believe, if it's in the rural area, it's going to be a black neighborhood that's going to be close to that rural area. It won't be a white one. It will not be a white one. And so they're doing what they got in Africa. That's some of that stuff that still is here. It is still here. It's still here. You know, they do the same old dumb stuff until only thing some of us may have a little voice or something. But you know, when they get to certain people, hey, why don't you just hush? We give you some money and let us continue to do our thing. And a lot of brothers and sisters do that. They shut up and let them go ahead and do their thing. The same thing happens in Africa.
Mhm.
But it's that back door I see is more of an advantageous thing for us to go in and to do things that way. Me and Karis was talking about this yesterday. We're some smart people. We will need the income to fulfill our engineering gifts. Just like you have the brothers there in Niger that has that uranium. All it takes is a brother or sister to sit down and say, look here, they use this for their nuclear plant. How can we take a portion of that to work a stove or a refrigerator? What can we put together where we can have, it don't even have to be plugged up. Just boom. It's just that powerful of the minerals that we have in the earth that I know for a fact we can put something together like that. All it takes is the engineers to put their heads together. They don't want that. But I know for a fact, once we get that running start, we're not stopping. We're not stopping. When these brothers talk about they're going to process their own minerals, that's the start of it. So when you start processing, now you need your laboratory now. You need to start playing with this stuff, saying, hey, well, this is the best way we can use it, and things of that nature. So now it seems like Africa, which it is, and I'm gonna just say this in small terms, will be China. You know, everything you used to see like made in China, this made. No. Majority of that stuff that they got from China, the materials came from Africa. It's just like when they saw India is the highest leading in rice. That rice is coming out of Africa. They just said India because it's an Indian person that owns the company. That rice is coming out of Africa. Like your peroxide, Africa. Your cooking oil, Africa. But somebody else will, who may be a big chain, hey, it's coming out of there. Wherever the land that person is from, that's where they go say that oil is from.
Mm-hmm. I heard that a couple of years ago with olive oil. And it was like, well, the olive oil is, it's Italian, right? No, they were literally taking olives from the continent and they were producing it. They were processing it in Italy, and then they were calling it olive oil. Come on.
That's Gentile way of doing things.
That's that they do. Because anytime they show anything about olive oil, it's always depicted from Italy. Always depicted from Italy. The majority of olives grows in Africa. Period. Always trying to downplay things, and they know that Africa is the mother who is breastfeeding these nations. That's what Africa is doing. And at the same time, they just coming up there taking whatever they want to take. But but things are changing. And this is where we're at to this day. This is where we at. You gotta fight. We gotta fight to try our best to go there and do what we're supposed to do in order to help our brothers out. And it's more so for the brothers to see, hey, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to come back together as a nation. And I think the more they see that, the stronger we become. The stronger we become. And then it's going to have to be some type of change in the political arena. And especially when it comes down to these so-called laws that have been orchestrated, put together to keep our people down. But then you may have an educated brother who understands the system, but he fed into the lies and the self-absorbing attitude. All right, I take the money, I keep my mouth shut. And that's what's part of the problem when it came to us. But we was up under that, we was up under that curse. And so for a lot of brothers and sisters that are in that position, they have a difficult time of letting that go. That's a very dangerous position to be into, because now you go fall up on Yah's judgment.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, they don't think it's strange. Look, they even said chocolate prices are going to start rising because why? Because Ghana and other African nations are saying that they're going to produce the chocolate at home. They're going to produce the cocoa bean at home. So something is happening. Something's taking effect. But now it's up to us to be able to reach on out to our brothers and sisters. And I'm going to tell you this. When we started this, when Quest Unite Africa got started back in April, we were looking at bank failures. Bank failures are still happening. But we never would have imagined that we literally have a pre-positioning of war, of forces, of U.S. forces getting ready for war and actively engaging in combat right now, might I add. And this is happening right now. This is a new war. This 21st century war is a new war. These cyber attacks, that's the new war.
850,000 people were shut down because of the quote-unquote cyber attack last Friday by all the banks. That's almost 1 million people that didn't get their paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought I'd see the day where I'll be praying to Yah, say, hey, thy will be done when it come to getting my paycheck.
Yeah, and that's what's happening. That is what's happening, family.
Thy will be done.
This is a new thing of warfare, because why? Once you degrade the system, then they know what Americans will do. They'll start to turn on each other. Because why? Because the government won't tell you the truth.
They're not telling anybody about these delays in the supply chain. Like America does it's all by design. This is all by design. They do just-in-time shipping, so these stores don't stack anything. So all it takes is just pretty much right now a hiccup in the supply chain to just knock everything down, and then within probably less than 48 hours, all the stores will be empty. Then you're going to see World War Z in real life.
Less than 48 hours now, less than 24 hours. Folks will be picking up and picking and picking. And then what ends up happening is once they consume their stuff in about 2 or 3 weeks, and they start looking for other folks.
Mhm.
It's a real sad prospect to understand how quickly civil authorities can dissolve and things then devolve into chaos. Oh, and guess what? We are very, very vulnerable because we are the least armed population
Hmm.
in the domestic in the demographic sphere of all racial components. They see you come around, that's free chicken. That's easy pickings. Understand how this thing was designed, family. Understand it. And now we're on the cusp of it. Literally, we're on borrowed time. That's why tomorrow night we're gonna have the Middle East conflict prayer. And we're praying for the Most High to protect our sons and our daughters, our husbands and wives, our grandchildren. Because, family, we see what's happened in Ukraine, and do not think that that can't happen here. Oh, yes, it can. Absolutely. Excuse me. It can happen here, and mark my words, it will happen here. But we pray for the Most High to protect us and to protect our families. That when that time comes, what does the word say? What was that? I think it was in 2nd Ezra 15 that Teo, that Jacob brought out, that the other nations will be affected, but not his children, not
Hmm.
his people. We're covered under the shadow of his wing. I had a really interesting dream last night. I was just so exhausted. I think I was just so exhausted the Most High just brought me up to like third or fourth heaven. Oh boy, that was a interesting, vivid dream. You know when the Most High is talking to you, and that dream is just so vivid. Oh my goodness. You don't know if you're dreaming or if you're actually up. Oh my goodness. That was wow. But yes, family. Yes, family. So we're gonna go ahead and get this ended because we have some folks that still working on some things. Again, family, we need your support. We have a couple of our executives, our board members meeting with our landlord for um, Tanzania. We do have property on out there that we do lease. It does serve a functional purpose, but we need your support to maintain it. That's how it goes every 90 days. We thank you for providing for the mint kits. We thank you for providing for the medical initiative, but we also need a place to put the mint kits, and that's part of it. So when we ask for donations for the general fund, that's not just a website. It's not just having emails or a phone number. There's also things that we're doing on the continent, on the ground, and we need help with that, family. None of that comes for free. I wish it did, but it doesn't. And I'm going to believe the Most High, and I'm going to open up my mouth and ask for help and ask that the Most High touches your heart so that help can be delivered. That's the only thing that we can do. But again, we can't do anything without your support. That's it. That's it. But I'm going to give the Most High glory anyway. no matter what. Because again, this is his organization. And he always surprises me when he puts it on the heart of his people, how his people always come through. We're in a time, family, of spiritual warfare, but now that spiritual warfare is also financial warfare. See, in the church, they didn't understand that you kept victimizing yourself when you're giving your finances to mammon. That's just how it happens. Sow together with your people. Let not your hands be slack, Judah. Look, come together with your people. This is Deuteronomy chapter 30, Deuteronomy chapter 33. Judah, we can do it. But it takes all of us to do it. Thank you, Rivka. Says you gentlemen have done a perfect analysis of Africa and how the West has prevented its development. I'm an African immigrant, and you are spot on. Thanks for this forum. I appreciate that. All we can do is just tell the truth. We're not here to lie. We're not here to sugarcoat. We're not here to placate. We're not here to butter you up. We're here to tell you it's a hard road. But let me tell you this road is getting much easier because guess what? I'm telling you, you're starting to see the decline in the West. And guess what the Most High does? He always gives us an out. There's always a ram in the bush. That's how our Heavenly Father works. If you can't provide resources, hallelujah, you can always pray. Pray for the organization. Pray for the success of what the Most High is doing. That's all we do. We just give him praise every single day, every single hour. But now, family, we need your help. It's a critical time. We have to send Mike forward because Mike is integral in how we're able to get these contracts up and going. Mike is integral in how we're able to continue the model. And it's not a pretty penny. We're talking well over 15,000 in this trip, in this go round, to have our business operations going. 15,000. Brother Fast Nickel, if you're on this, and now Brother Red, we need to have a gauge, not just a banner. We need to have a gauge. Mike is getting his affairs in order to go back to the continent in less than 2 or 3 weeks. In less than 2 or 3 weeks, he's getting his affairs in order. And we're asking the Most High to help us so we can meet him halfway. I'm going to ask Red and Brother Fast Nickel today to put on there a gauge to show how much money is being raised for Mike and the operations for our Tanzania office, our Tanzania location. You see the banners, but we got to show you the real-time production of what we're raising. Because family, this is an endeavor. I thank the Most High for what he's been doing to help Brother Mike in the background. And don't get it twisted, family. Mike works. He has 3 jobs. He owns 3 companies. And let me tell you, when the enemy knows that you're about to make an impact, guess what he does? Hey, I got this. I got this job on the way. I got this contract on the way. I'm looking at Mike. Mike's telling me it's like Harris, I got a job over here for this one. I got a job over here for that one. I'm like, well, Mike, if you need me to run on up to Chicago and hold down the fort for you, I'll just get layered up with these thermals because Florida done gave me some thin blood. I can't withstand that cold like I used to. Ven acá, ven acá. Hola, hola. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Claro que sí. Ay, lindo. I'll direct them. Izquierda, derecha. Bueno, bueno.
Well, it's just like what you said, Karis. It don't take a rocket scientist to look about in your own neighborhoods or area or state or whatever. You're seeing these stores shutting down. That's all you gotta. If you're seeing all these stores shutting down, that's trouble on the horizon. That is trouble on the horizon. Now, when they shut down, I mean, people start losing their jobs. And some people, they act a little bit different from losing a job. Some, they just, hey, they go to stealing or whatever the situation may be. When you starting to see companies shutting down, you're seeing malls where grass is growing up. That's a problem. But these companies, what do you think they do? They go to other countries and they start setting up businesses. They're not trying to let their money just sit there, or they're not to go sit there in the mud and wallow in it. Talk about, oh, we ain't got no stores in the United States or whatever situation may be. Man, that's a big world out there. And they looking at that world, hey, how can we set up a company here? How can we set up a company there? That's what businesses do. So now we have an office in Dar es Salaam. What we're trying to do and hoping to do, we got to get we gonna have to have a warehouse. Period. Of course, once we get going, we're gonna ask for donation is just not it won't be just money. You may have a person may say, hey, we got restaurant equipment, we want to donate. Go out there, analyze everything, see how much it's worth, boom. And then we send it to the warehouse. And for those who have a restaurant business here, to say, hey, I want to come to Quest to Unite Africa to set my business up. Can you all help? We got equipment and things. Yes, we can help because we know the big picture of it. There's a bigger picture that we're working with or trying to achieve. And this is where the donations comes in at. It's that big picture because the scripture says everyone is going to go back to their own country or nation. And so if you're going to go in that route, know for a fact where you want to be back at. And that you have a part in building up a country where you will be living in. Who built the United States? That right there is question number one. We did that. We did this. We did this. We can do the same thing there. And it's a blessing the way that some things about Africa is good when it comes down to some of the utilities that they do not have. They're not linked up to this system that Satan has got the world hooked up to. So, man, it's so much that we need to do, and it's not overwhelming. It's just a matter of us getting to work. For those that can afford to donate, donate, because all of this stuff is getting information, putting things in place, finding the best business to open up in certain areas. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. All of that. And then how you can come through Quest to Unite Africa to set your business up. Because the more we team up and you come in here, the stronger you are. If you come in here by yourself, you may run into some issues. You may, and from the majority of brothers, they have ran into issues just to get to Africa. And especially if they're talking about it, they have a shipping container coming through. But when you coming in as a group and you saying this, it builds strength because they know for a fact, wait, we just can't take this down. And they have a whole lot of people backing them. And so that's the strength that comes with it. And so, I really do encourage for brothers and sisters to donate, because y'all did say the power of money, fortune, and decision making, all of that is going to be changed. It's moving over. And we're already seeing what Africa is doing. Those brothers saying, no, we're going to do the chocolate. We're going to do the uranium. This is what they're saying. We're going to process our own gold, and we'll sell it to you as a finished product. That's a change in the money. That is the change of the money. But in order for us to get to that point, we got to start somewhere. And I say Quest to Unite Africa is that starting point. It's that starting point. And we, to help one another and to encourage one another. Because it's going to hit here. I know we're not used to it. We never seen anything. The most recent disaster this country has had was 9/11. 9/11. And there was 2 planes that flew into a building. That's the most dramatic thing we've seen. And it shook the world. Now, can you imagine anything greater than that? For a majority of the people, they cannot imagine that. We can. And we're seeing it. These countries are saying they're fed up with the West. Somebody's going to do something. But at this time, I hope that we can really, truly put it together for our desires to come to fulfillment. That we on that continent working together with our brothers and sisters. And I hand it back to you, Brother Karras.
All right. Thank you, Brother Mike. So, family, we actually have to get on this on this call because we got to figure out what's been happening with our folks. On this Veterans Day, again, tomorrow we are going to be doing the Middle East conflict prayer. If you are in East Africa, that will be 4 a.m. Sunday morning. Well, that is 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific. So we pray to see you there. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, most high willing, we will be back on Monday. But boy, oh boy, what doesn't a lot always happen over the weekends? A lot always happens. Brother Red, anything we want to say before we jump on off? I think Red's asleep. This is his day off.
No, man, my bad. I was talking with the I forgot I had my thing muted. No, I enjoyed the opportunity to, come up and talk about our adventures in decolonization.
Oh yeah. Yep, it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. That's why, family, look, while the work is here, this is the work that we need to do. Hallelujah. You can quickly see our time here is the days are shortening. The time is shortening. Watch out for each other, family. Be extra vigilant. Take precautions when you're out in public, because they understand that this thing is beginning to lose. They're losing control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And just ask the Most High to continue to give you spiritual discernment in everything you do and in everywhere you go. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, shalom, salama, siyemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel.
Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Karibuni sana.